Welcome back to TubaFix. Today we're going to try taking a tour of the tuba as it is today and showing you what it has for parts and what parts it doesn't have and what is damaged and what is not damaged, and giving you a little bit of background on the instrument itself before we dive into techniques that we're going to try to use to make it playable. Up on the bell right here there's a stamp. Is difficult to read, but says Queenon, 105 Rue Lafayette, Paris. Oh, there we go. That's better. Made in France, and I believe it says 51611. Although that second one, the 51, it may be 5,611. To be honest, I'm not really sure. So, looking around, let's take a little bit of a tour of the condition of the instrument itself. So there is a rather large break in the bell right here. You can see it goes through, and someone has put on a relatively crappy patch right there. So I strongly suspect this was probably a school horn at some point or another because of the way it was taken care of. There are some significant dents and bumps in the bell. I'm probably going to look at some point, if I get it to be playable, to see if I can work those out in some form or fashion. There's some red rot on here that I'm going to try working out as well. The tubes themselves are a little dented up from the lead pipe in here, and as you can see, some of the larger branches in here. This is a solder point, which is not very well done. Someone tried to repair this right here and then here as well, but you can see this tube is almost flat. So that will definitely be something I need to look at, see if I can do anything about it. I do know that it's supposed to solder here to the end of this third branch here. And that comes into play when we look at the actual slide that's supposed to go in there. As well as the bottom bracing is fine. The rest of the bell is in relatively good shape. Most of the curves, the upper branches are fine. There's no major leaks there that I can detect. There looks like there's either a dent. I don't believe anything was actually soldered there. I believe that was actually just a dent that popped the lacquer off. So that's the basic condition of the instrument. Otherwise, everything else is here by and large. All these are in actually really good condition. They are not dented at all. They have corrosion on them, but that is nothing serious. They are not dented whatsoever. The water key is still fully intact with some good cork on it. Who knew? So, valve-wise, what do we have for valves? So, we have two of the three. We have the number one, which is right here. At least I believe it's the number one. They are not labeled. Usually there's something on the end cap or they're stamped somewhere on there. There's no stamping whatsoever, so there's nothing akin to that. The only thing I can see is the arrangement of the pass-throughs to try to figure out what valve that is. But I believe it's first or it's third. Take your pick, and here's why. First and third valves appear to be, at the moment, exactly the same, which is also a curiosity. You almost never see that happen either. I think that's the case. I don't know that that's the case. It just appears that way, and when I set up the instrument in the kind of a test mode, the air seems to flow that way. I don't know that for certain, and that's going to be part of my testing and exploration, because if that's the case, that's great, because that means that when it comes to fabricating the third valve, I can just mimic the first. Anyway, there is a second valve. Second valve is very unique to second just because of the arrangement of the tubes, so no problem there. That one is quite clearly. Their padding is intact at the top. The corking and the padding, the valve stems are still intact, and the guide key are still all there like they're supposed to. They don't have any of the finger pads. Those are missing. For whatever reason, those were cannibalized for a different instrument or something akin to that, so they are not here. And as you can see, we're missing an entire valve altogether. 2 springs out of the 3 expected. There are 3 end caps, so all 3 valves have end caps, or head caps, sorry. No, these are end caps, sorry. All 3 end caps, and then 2 of the head caps, but missing one of those as well for the 3rd valve. So whoever took that took the head cap and the spring and everything. Probably, like I said, cannibalized for a different instrument, and then they got rid of this one. That's my guess. I don't honestly know, because it came off a garage sale. I don't know what the history is of this instrument, so I don't know where it was played or used, but like I said, given the cheapness of it and the quality and the dings, probably a school instrument. So that is the tour of the horn as it exists today. The challenge will be figuring out how are we going to fix this and what are the steps going to be. So if you have any comments or any questions about it, please put them down below. I'll put, like I said, I'll put links in the description to my working documents for research and some other information like that. If you have any insight into the instrument itself or into some other things like that, please feel free to comment. Love to hear it. Thanks.